ahead and give it to him. It is the National Coach of the Year, and it doesn't really matter where you look. Every single Coach of the Year award, our coach, Coach O, won every single one of those. I'm so excited to have him on here tonight. Coach O, how you doing?
What do you say, man?
Not too much. Hey, I'm just trying to figure out the Zoom room, right? Because I'm a little old school like you, Coach, and so I'm just trying to figure this thing out as well.
I'm telling you what, it's been a good tool, though. It's been very, very useful for this time with our players and our coaches, and it's a new tool that we can use forever now.
And Coach, y'all been doing such a great job. And I know that as a coach, you want to make sure you know exactly what your players are doing, and that's been difficult. But as I've talked to you, you've done a good job of checking in with your players, and you have to trust them as well. And you always tell them, hey, protect the brand, do the right things. And they've been doing that. Coach, I can tell you, every time I drive by the levee, Jacoby Stevens or one of those older guys is out there working out, getting some extra time.
Yeah. You know, they took the accountability. I told them that everybody's going to be on a level playing field. We have to compete. Obviously, their health was our major concern, and Shelley did a good job of explaining them, knowledge what the virus was and what to expect and how to handle themselves. The second up, Derek Panansky and Mickey Joseph came up with a task force, and we had some guys that we had to watch over academics. We're over here, we're in a cocoon. We give them all the studying they need to study and all the tutorials, and now they're on their own. They don't have it. So we broke up a task force, and we gave each of 10 guys, and they stayed on those guys every day. Next thing is our coaches worked from 8 in the morning to 6 in the evening, and that was in recruiting, talking to our players in the Zoom meetings, installing, giving them drills to do, players sending us back drills. So we have, I think we have taken the full advantage of this time. Recruiting is going very well. I'm very proud of our staff. But I'm going to tell you what, when our staff came back to work on last Monday, Jacob, I was the happiest guy in my family. I've been by myself for 8 weeks. I couldn't wait to see them, man. But it's been good. It's been a good time. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully we're about to move forward in the next couple of weeks.
And coaches, as you know, and I know being around the game, we are so creatures of habit, and we know our schedule, and we know as soon as the season ends what we have to look forward to. And I can remember seeing you at the national championship parade, and you and I were talking about the next season, getting ready for this upcoming season, because we all know it takes a full 8 months to get ready for that season. And so is that the plan, just to stay on the same schedule until you hear something different?
As much as we could, and we have. I think that we just said, hey, this is what we're going to do. We reinstalled. We kept our installation throughout the spring. Now we're reinstalling our same install for the third time, just like we do if we're here. And they're going to hear it in camp for the fourth time. So we've done everything we can except hands-on coaching with our guys. And I think it's going to pay off when we get back. Hopefully we can get back soon. I saw a lot of guys that look good, they're in shape. Our fans are going to be happy to know I saw Miles Brennan. He's weighing a whopping 218. And I think Miles weighed about 180 when we got him here. So things are looking good.
Coach, I know that we're looking forward to this season, but it'd be hard not to talk to you and look back at what just happened in 2019. And I was actually talking with someone today, and it's hard to pick out a moment. It's hard to pick out exactly which game you want to talk about first, because LSU just did something that nobody's ever done. And the way they did it, all the top 10 teams, you could point to the Auburn game, the Florida game, you could point to getting, revenge on A&M, and you could talk about Clemson and all the games that happened this year. It's hard to pick out one moment because all of them were so special.
Just being with this team on a daily basis and to see them grow, to see their leadership and to be with these coaches, it flew by. And you could just feel there was something brewing, there was something special. I have to say, and I want to thank the fans for the Auburn game and the Florida game. They helped us win that game. And when everybody was doing the clap after, that was a special moment in Tigers Stadium that night. But, I can't pick out one special moment, but I will say this to you. This football team had 2 words to it, want to. They had want to. They had great character. They had leadership, but they had want to. They're led by Joe Burrow. And then to see the season that Clyde had, the game he had against Alabama, the win against Alabama, coming home and see our fans so happy, and then the national championship to see our fans so happy, and then going to the White House. I mean, that was a blast. And then coming back and to see the parade and the PMAC, just a lot of great things. And then to see the draft. We'll talk about the draft later. So a lot of great things are happening.
Coach, let's go ahead and talk about the draft because it was so special. Having 14 guys drafted, 5 first rounders, and to see every time you turn on the draft, an LSU Tiger making a play when they showed the highlight packages. I mean, that is something that is special because you know how hard those guys worked. And I think the most important thing for me, when you look at the guys in the first round, is the development of those players to get to that point from when they first arrived to Baton Rouge to end up being first round picks.
3 or 4 years ago, Jacob, we had to go into these homes, great relationships with these people that had to trust us. We presented a plan. It wasn't there. They couldn't see it, but they believed in us. And those guys graduated. 11 out of 14 graduated. 3 are going to graduate very soon. All 20 got a chance to go to the NFL. They won a national championship. They beat Alabama. They won an SEC championship. They won every award possible to win the Heisman Trophy winner. Think about all the things. Every one of them took a picture with the president. But you know what? I think one of the things that's most enjoyable about these players, they loved playing with each other. They came to work and they loved coming to work, and everybody enjoyed coming to work. Now, one of the most gratifying moments of my life was that Monday after, to know that these families, 14 families, signed for over $126 million, man. And to see them, just like my family and your family worked check to check, worked hard, and to see that reward, I was so grateful for that.
No, absolutely. So many great stories that we could sit here and we could talk about for hours upon hours. Let's look at this 2020 team. Let's look at the outlook. And of course, Coach Ensminger's back, and we're going to talk with Steve coming up.
Yeah.
But, Bo Pelini comes back to LSU.
Yeah.
And I was here as a player when Bo was here. And I can tell you, when Bo walks into a room, the energy level just goes up. He doesn't have to say a word, but when Bo walks into a room, I know you've got to be excited about the passion and energy Bo's bringing to the team.
We got to get back and play an LSU defense. And Bo's had the greatest defenses here. He's very smart. He's very demanding, but the players love him. As you know, he's going to get the most out of all players. We've had some great meetings with him. He's brought a lot of energy to the staff. So he's exactly what we need. Scott Linehan was a perfect fit for Steve Ensminger. Are we going to continue to do the same things that we're doing on offense? Now, here's the whole key. How well can our quarterback execute these plays? We got all the players. We got the players. And I do believe that Miles is going to be very good. Is Miles going to be Joe Burrow? Well, if he is, nobody's going to be disappointed, I promise you. I just want him to be the best Miles Brennan and not put pressure on him. But there's other ways to win. We got to play better defense. We got to play better special teams. I'm excited about the new guys coming in. I'm excited about Eric Gilbert. Our fans have not seen him yet because last spring he was hurt. I'm excited about Jamar Chase. Think about Jamar Chase and Derek Stingley going against each other every day one-on-one. How are we going to get better? We have an outstanding recruiting class coming in. I do believe we're going to have an outstanding team.
Coach, you mentioned Scott Linehan, the passing game coordinator there. Just another voice, just a guy who's been a head coach in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I just think it's so great that you have all these voices, but also the chemistry of the coaching staff. That's not something that can just happen. I mean, that is something that is impressive to me, and the fact that everybody wants to learn from everybody. Everybody's on the same page, not only the team, but the coaching staff and everything just around the program right now. It's all one common goal. That's to win football games and to do everything the right way.
Thank you. It's the culture we built. And I'm glad you noticed that. And in hiring people, I'm not gonna bring someone in that's going to be selfish or going to be an egotistical guy. That's not happening here. This is about the team. There's nobody more important than anybody in this building. We all pull on the same side of the rope. We all have the same job, and we all have one common goal in mind.
All right, Coach, we've got some questions that were submitted earlier. I'm going to roll through some of these from Bart Lofton from Baton Rouge. Do you plan on running the same offense with Miles at quarterback? Will there be some tweaks based on his skill set?
Obviously, we're going to do what he can do. Obviously, we're going to be spread. We're staying spread. We have the same plays. We have some more plays that we put in. But it all depends what our players can do. Steve does a great job of game day calling, and we're going to do what Miles does best.
All right, Coach, the next one comes from Reggie Simon. How challenging was it to keep the focus on the team one game at a time last year when you had so many big games coming? And, Coach, before you answer that, I've got to tell you, I have never seen a team that was focused on every game. The Alabama game looked the same as the Utah State game. And that's not just me lip service. That's my honest opinion. And that's
Yeah.
a credit to the coaching staff and everybody around the program.
Thank you. And the leadership and the character of this football team. This team was directed. We never talked about winning a national championship, but we all knew where we were heading. But you know what? We knew that every play counted. In order to get where you need to go, every game counted, every play counted, and every day counted. And, you know, these guys were focused enough to take one day at a time. I do believe tell the truth Monday, competition Tuesday, turnover Wednesday, no repeat Thursday, focus Friday. Help them just go through one day at a time and really focus in on the matter at hand. And the term block out the noise. Now, whether the noise is good or bad, we can't read it. We got to focus in on what we got to get done.
Coach, was that even impressive to you in the fact that every practice, every week looked the same because you do theme your practices and everything was going the right way? And regardless of the opponent, you knew what your team was bringing, because even great teams don't have that every single day. But I have the very fortunate experience of going to practice and seeing it. And that's the truth. That's what it was a year ago.
Very rarely we had a bad practice. Very rarely. And you know what I told this team? I know you're going to do it, because everything that we've asked you to do, you've done. And everything that we pointed out on Monday that we had to improve on, they took it upon themselves to improve. Now, when you have a leader like Joe Burrow, Joe was more critical of the football team than I was. You know, there's a good cop, bad cop. He scored 43 points and said, we left 3 touchdowns. I'm not happy. And then I could just come back and say, way to go, guys. But it just worked out great with the leadership.
I was always impressed with the red area stuff after practice with Joe, with some of the offensive players over there, and the attention to detail, Coach. And it started at the beginning of the season, but all the way until the Clemson game. I mean, they focused so much on the minor details of red zone offense and scoring touchdowns and not settling for field goals.
No question. You know, and we worked red zone. We were red zone on Monday, and we worked red zone on Thursday and on Friday. And we're talking about on Saturday before the game as walkthroughs. And it's so important and critical to coach a touchdown. I thought we were phenomenal in the red zone. I thought Joe Brady did a great job for us. Steve Edmonds did a great job. But, you know, as you know, you play, man, those players got to make plays. And it's all about the quarterback making the great decisions and the great catches.
All right, we've got another question coming in for Coach from Troy and Kathy. What activities, Coach, have you been doing to stay busy during the quarantine?
You know, I've got a chance to work out, man. I've been running on that river.
Oh yeah, hey, I've seen you. I can co-sign that. I've seen you on there.
It's been good, and you know what? Just being with my boys, being with my family. But really, we've been working from 8 to 6 now. I have to admit, I watch too much TV. I do like Peyton Place. I think he has a pretty good show there. He's very informative. But after that, I couldn't wait to come back to work.
Coach, I'm glad you mentioned that. I know when I played for the Broncos and I would walk into the team meetings and number 18, Peyton would have the clicker in his hand. I'm like, wait a minute, this guy's built a little bit different. So I enjoy that as well. I enjoy hearing him break down how he sees football because, as you know, we all see it a little different.
That's right. He's very smart. Yeah.
All right, Coach, we've got another one from Brian Dice. What is the first thing you are going to do with your athletes when you get them back in the building?
You know, first, make sure they're healthy. You know, we're going to go through a protocol. We're going to test them and just make sure they've been all right. Then I'm going to welcome them back. I'm going to be happy to see them. I miss them. You know, it's like my own children. And then, you know, we're going to have to get them. We're going to see what the protocol is and hopefully, you know, get them registered for class, summer school, whatever it may be, check out the academics, then let Tommy Moffitt have them and what we can do with them. I want to make sure that they're in shape. I'm sure some of them got a little bit heavier on the little 8 weeks off, but I think most of them stayed in good shape.
Coach, you mentioned academics, and I want to get you out of here with this one. That is a challenge considering everybody's, you know, back home and doing things virtual. What have you seen from maybe your team leadership as far as making sure that everybody's doing the right thing when they're home as well? Because I hear you talk about protecting the brand all the time, and that is very important because, as you know, we're as football players not used to having free time right now.
That's right. You know, I think the biggest thing was our communication of our staff. And again, we had an academic task force. We stayed in touch with these guys every day. If somebody missed a tutorial, it was on a tutorial report. Derek put it on my desk the next day, and they got a call from the head coach. So, but like we just let these guys go for 8 weeks. We treated them just like they were at school. We did the best that we can.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much for giving us a couple of minutes here. Anything you want to leave the LSU Tiger fans with?
I just want to thank these fans, man. Y'all the greatest in the world. You know, coming to the Tiger Walk, you guys give us the energy, and walking into the Tiger Stadium, one of the biggest advantages in all the world. I just want to say I was so happy that we could win the championship and bring it home, and we plan on doing a lot more, and that we're just getting started with this program, and we plan on taking it to the top and leaving it there.
All right, there he is, the National Coach of the Year, Coach O. Coach, appreciate it. We'll see you soon.
Go Tigers.
All right, go Tigers. All right, so the winner of our first poll, and we asked you earlier, what was your favorite memory moment from this past football season? And as you can imagine, choice 4 won. I can't pick just one. It was the most